what is your, like, what do you like to be called? Because I know that there's a process of, calling you. Like, what's your official title that you like to be called?
Okay. Well, I mean, hi everyone. My name is Consuelo Martinez. So that's my name, Consuelo Martinez. But I do have multiple roles. One is I'm an elected council member in the city of Escondido, representing District 1. So council member. People call me council member. People call me Consuelo. It just depends, where I'm at. But yeah, I get called Councilmember Martinez or Consuelo. But for the podcast, feel free to call me Consuelo.
Okay, feel free.
Feel free to call me Consuelo.
Feel free to call her Consuelo. So, thank you so much for coming.
Sure.
I was super excited to have you as one of my guests, and me and you go back, way back.
Yes.
And I know when I asked you as a favor, I was so excited when you said, yeah, totally. So it's really cool. We went to high school together. That's
where we met.
When I first met you, and we were...
We won't say what year that was, okay, Jorge? We won't say what year that was.
That was just a few years ago. And I do remember we were in math class, and I think that was a sophomore, and that's when I first met you, and we were in a few classes, not all of the classes. We had a few other friends as well. And then I think I saw you for like a year or two, and then I got kicked out of the program because this was what do you call it back then? ADS, ABS. What was the super smart people? It was a super ADD. No, it was a super smart group. It was a group of intelligent kids.
I don't remember that. I just remember. I vaguely remember high school. I just know we went to a lot of classes, and I know we met there.
Yeah.
I don't remember the teachers' names, unfortunately, or anything like that.
Neither.
So you probably remember more than I do.
I do remember one, Mr. Doyle.
Okay.
That's because we got a lot of
probably got in trouble, right?
Just a few times. Anyway, so I'm trying to say that at one point I was smart because I was in that class.
My goodness.
I think it was called ABS.
I don't remember all. Sorry.
Yeah, and I remember because my friend Aldo was in there too, and he's the one that got me into these classes.
What year were you in there?
We're not saying the year. Nice try. Nice try, Carlos.
I was gonna say I probably was coaching at the high school at that time. Oh, see,
I don't think so.
Could have been. Well, you're young, so I'm pretty sure you must have been maybe.
Try me.
Let's just maybe, huh? Anyway, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. That at one point we were super smart. You kept being smart and intelligent. God. So anyway, so that's how far we go, high school. And then after high school, you tell me what happened after high school. Like, where'd you go?
Yeah, so I've stayed in Escondido. I grew up in Escondido since the age of 4. So I say I never left because I stayed local. I did go to college. I was always a working student. So I went to Palomar College for a bit, stayed there for a while. Just because I was working, I was working full time while going to school. Very hard to do. So I was going pretty part time for a while. Eventually, I transferred to Cal State San Marcos.
Yeah.
Graduated there. At that time, I wanted to be an attorney, so I was pursuing law school. Didn't end up going to law school. I had some health issues at the time. The cost that was during the recession, by the way. So. I just decided,
the second recession, not the very first one, right? Just throw it out there.
2008, 2009, and I graduated in 2009. So, I was going to go to law school, but then I decided because law school was very expensive.
Yeah.
And I had health issues at that time. It wasn't something I was pursuing immediately.
Yeah.
And then eventually I went to go work for a nonprofit. And just ended up being a community organizer and ended up not going to law school and realizing that I didn't need a law degree to help people. I could advocate for people and their rights in other ways. And it worked out because I don't have the law school debt.
Yeah. I got to apologize to you and to you. I think I mentioned you, but we have Nuzio in the room. Now, Nuzio is our know-it-all. I call him. He
knows a lot about colors.
He knows a lot. He knows a lot about everything. He's like the how do I say this? The guy in the hood encyclopedia. I don't participate, but he participates in a lot of my podcasts again because I appreciate the knowledge that he has. He just has a lot of knowledge. And then Coach Carlos Hernandez wanted to stick around. He was so excited to meet you. He just couldn't wait to see you in person and just admires you. And
I've heard a lot of good things about you. By the way, I was coaching at high school in 2005.
Okay.
So I was already there. So I'm a lot older than you think. So you guys are just young kids.
Yeah.
And I do hear a lot of good things about you. And I always I was telling George, I go, I wanna meet. Every time I see a Hispanic, especially female, being a leader, successful, I always wanna get to meet that person because I'm a little bit about. We talked about in the earlier about how I got involved in soccer, and that was exactly that. I was not really the winning and losing, of the competitors, but it was the fact that I was helping kids and I was sort of guiding them to stay in school and become something. So
now, just to throw it out there, justify. I have icebreakers. Okay, if you need.
I have coffee. I'll mess with my coffee. But thank you, Carlos.
Yeah,
That's right. It's great to meet you.
Yeah.
Same here. Thanks.
And we'll talk about soccer at some point because that's important to me in the community, and I'll share an update. The city, on what the city is doing around.
I work. By the way, I work for the Escondido Soccer Club. I'm the director of operations, and so I've been involved since the club started, way back then. So I'm one of the directors there. So I would like to talk to you a little bit more about that.
Sure.
There's a lot of things we can do together, I think.
Yes,
That's awesome.
Happy to chat.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you being here and
Thanks.
hanging out with us. Do we have any questions, anything like that yet?
What inspired you from Eric? Eric wants to know what inspired you to run for city council.
Okay, yeah. Should we answer that now?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Sure, thanks for your question, Eric.
That's a very good question.
Yeah, so inspire is a funny word because so when I ran for office in 2014, so the city had just gone through.
That was very recent.
Yeah, 8 years.
Well,
it goes by pretty fast. But so the city moved from at-large to in-district elections, which means before people used to just vote, the entire city could vote for city council, and the top vote getters would get in, right? Yeah. So the city got sued for racially polarized voting because the city of Escondido, now had a majority Latino population. However, only no Latinos had been elected until Olga Diaz was the first woman Latina elected. So that took 120 years since the city became incorporated. I'm the second Latina ever in the history of Escondido to be elected. And like you said, the population is, it's a high Latino population.
Yeah.
So when we moved to district elections, I was already very engaged as a citizen in Escondido politics because I was not happy with the leadership in my city. At that time, in the early 2000s, Escondido experienced a demographic shift, and I noticed that the city council started enacting anti-immigrant policies. Right, that's when the population changed. Yeah. Growing up here, in the 80s, I'm dating myself. Growing up here in the 80s, it was a different demographic then. Latinos were not the majority then, but in the 2000s, they became the majority. Yeah. So all of a sudden, you have the city council who's supposed to focus on local topics, not immigration, which is a federal issue.
Yeah.
They started enacting immigration policies, such as the rental ban and things like that. So really early on, I started saying, what is the city council? What is the mayor doing? And I saw firsthand the negative impacts that their policies and their rhetoric, anti-immigrant rhetoric, had on our community. And as a daughter of immigrant parents, I found this unacceptable. And a lot of people say, hey, why do you care? You were born here, you have citizenship. Well, that doesn't mean that I don't care for other people, And so I didn't like people being mistreated and targeted. And that was happening at the city level. So for me, that's how I got involved in city council politics. When the districting happened, there was no one to challenge the incumbent, who is the current city council member at the time. He was one of the people who, was part of this anti-immigrant policy making. And so I said, well, someone's got to challenge him. No one did. No one stepped up to run. And that's when the community said, Consuelo, we want you to run. Yeah. I happen to live in that district that was up for that seat. And so I did it because no one else would do it. It wasn't that, it wasn't so much that I was inspired to, but I would say I felt compelled to do it. I felt compelled to challenge someone that was harming many residents in our community. And you
Yeah.
know, prior to that, I became this leader because my community called me when they needed help,
Mhm.
right? And so I was helping them. So all those years in leadership made people pay, you know, say we want you to run. And so that's how
Wow.
that's why I did it the first time. Lost the first time. Second time I won by a landslide. So that's kind of what got me to run, is really
Mhm.
the need for representation and good leadership on city council, which I felt we didn't have at the time.
For someone that wants to be in politics, I was in politics in the University of Miami when I was an undergrad. Honestly, I was so turned off that the moment I got elected, everything I wanted to do, they were never going to let me do. But so I never considered politics. I entered the movie industry. But there's a lot of people that want to get into politics, and they're so turned off by all of these people that are running based on money.
Mhm.
But if somebody wants to be in politics and they want to be on the city council, is there really a chance in hell that if you don't have a pot to piss in, that you're ever going to get elected?
Yeah, yes, there is. And let me tell you, right now at the so local levels, I love the local level, okay? I understand why people are very turned off by politics. I'm not gonna say it's easy on the inside. It's very hard. It's very hard. I actually thought about, like, do I want to keep doing this? Because you sacrifice a lot in politics because you become a public person. Everybody kind of knows your business. People, your enemies or people who don't like you are always trying to find something that that you do wrong, or they make up lies about you.
Mhm.
It's awful. You get thick skin, right? And I'm a person that I was raised with, manners and respecting people, and that's really carried me forward. So I feel if your heart is in the right place, you will make it. It gets harder as you go higher, though, because elections are expensive, and I have to raise a lot of money to run for office. I have to raise a lot of money, and
Yeah.
I would just say we can't give up hope. We can't, say, oh, government, don't do that. That's giving in. Be part of the solution. I'll tell you, for our school board races, like we have Escondido Union High School District for the elementary level. We have the high school, right? Sometimes there's people who've been there for like 20 years and no one runs against them. Okay?
Yeah.
Because they don't even know that they're there. People don't even know what a city council does, or a mayor. People don't know who the mayor is. People don't know who their school board members are. People don't know who their water district representatives are, who the Palomar board of directors are for hospitals. So those hyper local seats are where people can run and make a difference. And some people don't have a lot of money, and they still, but if you knock on doors and talk to voters, that's really what I did. My opponent, the first couple times that I ran, he'd been there for almost 20 years. Okay. And he had a lot of money. Like, he would get max donations. When I got on the council, I was one of the proponents of changing the limits on council races. They used to be $4,300. You could donate $4,300 to a city council race.
Wow.
Right now it's 1,000. My limit is 1,000, right? But before, people would write $4,300 checks to my opponent, And so I would just say, you have to just run and do it and see for yourself. It's not easy, and local elections matter. People get turned off by national, but you can make a difference in your own backyard if you get involved. So please vote, because it's coming up soon.
Councilwoman Consuelo, we have Eric saying thank you so much for running in your service, and we need more representation like you. And he advocates for you, and he says that he's really happy that you set the balance.
Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate
Well, he
it.
deserves a gift card just
I
for
told
saying
you, it
that.
must be the same Eric.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is Raul there somewhere?
I don't know.
Well, thanks,
He
Eric.
deserves
Spread the
it.
word, Eric, please.
Just to remind everybody who's watching, we do have 5 gift cards still to give away. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and what inspires you. Just tell me a little bit about yourself and what inspires you.
Like, who is Consuelo? So yeah, like I said, I'm involved in politics. I'm a council member, but that's not my full-time job, even though it can be a full-time job, and I spend a lot of time, on council. I have a full-time job at a nonprofit organization. I'm the policy and advocacy director for the San Diego Food System Alliance. So I talk to other elected officials about agriculture and keeping food here local, supporting farmers, and making our food system more equitable, and supporting all that are in the food supply chain. So that's what I do. I also have a small business. I have a shop of curated vintage home decor and accessories. I'm a Libra. I love beautiful things. I love art. I love culture. I love going to museums. I love like interior design and decorating. And during the pandemic, I just would, I redecorated my office, my home, and just it was fun. It was therapeutic to, shop for beautiful things.
Do you do that, Nunzio? 'Cause I-
And
Non-believer too. So
yeah, you feel that, right?
Cool.
I'm a happy birthday. So happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. I just had my birthday on Friday.
Libras are the most
Oh,
beautiful
happy
Thank you.
birthday!
Yeah,
That's
Friday
so
was
bad.
Friday was my birthday, first day of Libra. Thank you.
Yeah.
So so that was kind of my therapy.
Mhm.
It's just because it does get toxic in politics. It gets very toxic.
Yeah.
That you have to balance that out. Like you
Yeah.
need self care, right? And for me, it's buying secondhand, finding beautiful things, making just things that bring you joy. And for me,
Yeah.
plants. I love plants. I have a lot of succulents and plants and decorating. So I have my shop, Hidden City Finds, in the downtown Escondido, inside the Escondido Antique Mall, and that's
Cool.
that's kind of
What,
my
here
therapy.
at North County Fair
Yeah,
or
at the
Westfield now?
no,
right?
it's at the Antique Mall, downtown.
Oh, downtown on
We
Grand
have,
Avenue.
if you all don't know, there's an antique mall there with over 60 vendors.
What's your address so we can come visit you and buy stuff?
It's just Escondido Antique
Just
Mall.
Escondido
It's
Antique Mall.
downtown,
Downtown Antique Mall. Go
between
buy stuff.
between Maple and Broadway.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
You hear that? Go buy stuff.
And I'm
Aaron,
the-
go buy stuff.
And I'm the oldest of 3 sisters,
Oh,
and so
okay.
that comes with a ton of responsibility.
Yeah.
And I just I love my city, I love my community, and so I get to do that in all of my jobs and roles that I have.
That's awesome. So raffle time. Is it okay if I ask a question about you for the raffle?
Okay,
So let me know if this is.
I'll answer if I want to.
There you go. If you can guess how long City Council Member Consuelo Martinez has lived in the city of Escondido.
Oh my gosh.
How long has she lived in the city of Escondido? You get to win a Buffalo Wild Wings, Regal movie theater gift card, Taco Bell, and Starbucks. So,
You mean or?
or
Not and, right?
Yeah.
Gift cards.
Or if they've been listening, how long I've lived here, since the age of what?
okay,
I like
Yeah.
that one better.
Yeah.
you like that one better?
Remember, if they've been paying attention.
So, Nunzio, what did she say? What's the question? You go ahead.
Basically, she's going to say, how long has she lived in Escondido?
Since the age of.
Since
Since
the
the
age
age
of.
of.
Mhm.
There you go.
So
Okay.
how old was I when I moved to Escondido, right?
So how old she was?
moved
That's a
to
tough one.
Escondido.
And I
That's
said
a
it, so
No,
you
she
were
said it.
listening.
She said it. It's stuck in my
The
head.
host wasn't
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're right.
let's see who
Yeah, I
paid
was
attention.
distracted over here.
So how old was?
Not how, yeah, how, yes.
Yeah,
at
what age was I?
did she move to Escondido?
I know you like going to the swap meet, right? Yeah.
I do.
Is that
Yeah.
your favorite?
We have a guess of 9
Oh.
years old.
No.
No, keep guessing. All right. So swap meet.
Okay. Yeah, I like the swap meet. Yeah, I usually go on the weekends. I don't go on Fridays, although
Was
I
that
hear
because it's cheaper?
I hear it's popping on Fridays
Oh, it's
because there's
poppin',
bailes, but I'm not a dancer and I'm not into parties, believe it or not. So, Fridays probably, I don't go on Fridays, but
Yeah.
but I like to go on Saturdays or Sundays, and I love the food at the swap meet. Just the supporting local vendors.
And what do you eat?
Just my favorite is sopes. I think it's called Nava's Bakery.
Do you know what sopes are?
Sopes are good.
I know that, so.
But you know what I like about sopes? So I'm very picky on sopes. I like the place in the swap meet because
Mhm.
their sope, the masa, is super thin.
Mm.
It's really good.
Yeah. And what do you normally buy at the swap meet? I'm so
Like I said,
curious to know.
sopes.
Besides the soap.
I also
yeah.
buy plant food and plants.
Oh, plants.
And I have my lady that gives me my plant food.
Yeah.
We have another guest for
What's-
11 years old.
11.
No.
No.
They
Okay.
were
Keep.
listening.
keep-
You all
guessing.
were listening.
So do you buy jewelry there?
What?
Do you buy jewelry?
Oh, jewelry. Sometimes
Yeah,
I buy
yeah.
vintage jewelry. There's
Yeah.
a lady there that she has a ton of jewelry and
Yeah,
she'll
yeah.
have like vintage. So sometimes I'll buy it from her
Yeah.
as well.
Isn't your tia sells jewelry there?
No, I don't have any family that sells there. I have friends that sell
Your
there
friends
though.
sell?
Yeah.
Do they also have a guy that changes the batteries in your watches?
They have everything there.
Yeah.
They do have everything.
They have everything you can want at the swap meet. They were
Alright.
even giving out vaccines at one point.
Wow.
So that's how.
Vaccine, swap meet vaccine.
Well,
Have
they
a
were
soap and a vaccine.
get a soap and vaccine and a
Which is
plant
first?
and a plant. Take care of all your mental health with plants,
Yeah.
Mm.
right?
Yeah,
Your physical health with the vaccine. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they have everything there.
And I know you don't look like the Walmart shopper, so
Whatever, whatever.
She's a Walmart.
Walmart. Oh, that's right, Walmart.
You're the Walmart.
Nuzio, how do you say it?
Walmart.
Walmart, okay. Yeah, Nuzio.
My mom says Walmart.
Walmart.
La Walmart.
My mom said la Walmart too.
Va a la Walmart y
years.
a la Smart Final.
La Smart, oh, la Smart Final.
Oh, close.
Close.
Who was that?
Eric.
Eric, you're so close,
Okay.
Eric. Get that gift card.
Latin,
Did you guess again?
3 years old.
So close. I think
Um,
Eric was kind of listening.
yeah, kind of.
He was
Latinx, please, please.
Why are you asking
And if we
that?
can hold off on the answers, because I really want to.
You want to hear the answer?
I want to hear.
God.
I want to hear this whole Latinx. It needs to really be told exactly what that is, because LA people have no clue what Latinx means. Latinx means, you know what LA people think? What
Wait,
Latinx?
wait, when you, what people?
Do you know what
LA.
LAians? People from
LAians.
LA.
Oh, LA.
How do you say Los Angelinians?
Angelinos, Los
Los
Angelinos.
Angelinos. Okay.
Yeah.
Without Nuzio's, I know you don't think this. So, with the exception of Nuzio, a lot of people in LA think that Latinx is a gay community.
Okay, I'm not going to be the foremost authority on what Latinx is, but I will say I find that it's a newer term that's supposed to be more encompassing, like gender encompassing, right, of all genders. So,
Mm-hmm.
people, people say Hispanic, Latino, Chicano, Latinx. It's just, I think the younger generation is really very inclusive, and so Latinx is more of a gender neutral term.
Mhm.
So I hear a lot of young folks using Latinx, and I think it's going to become pretty mainstream. It's already pretty mainstream.
Yeah. We're good to go, floor director?
Yeah.
We're good to go? Okay, cool. Okay, we're back in service. Latinx. So,
Marathon, so that's, like I said, it's there's always evolving terminologies, and that's just one of the evolving terminologies, and I think you're going to hear it more.
Yeah.
It's becoming pretty mainstream.
when did it start?
I don't know,
That
a
you
few
know of.
years. Yeah.
It's really young, right?
It's
young.
pretty recent. I
Is
mean,
it
a few
movement,
years.
like Black Lives Matter kind of thing?
I don't know if it's a movement. It's just terminology. It's how people identify themselves. It's like I said. Now you use it like in colleges. I now hear, like, instead of saying Latino, they say Latinx. So it's just becoming more
excuse me.
mainstream.
So can I call Nuzio Latinx?
If he wants to be called that,
Yes.
So he-
I don't think he fits the description.
She put it in place.
I don't know his background.
Do you know about Latinx?
I mean, I think I might fit the description more than you,
Gen X.
but yeah.
Yeah.
How do you fit the description?
I think it's just like a certain look or like style, of Hispanic boys and girls, and it's not meant to be.
It has
negative
something to
at
do with the
all,
generation,
no.
like the
I think it might have
millennials.
to do with the generation, yeah.
Like the
It's
millennials, and then that are being Latin.
It's the way our
That's how I
style's a
see
little
it.
bit different than
Yeah.
older Latin people. We
Mhm.
dress a little bit different. Yeah.
Do you know who started it?
No.
No. Okay. You just know that there's this Latinx.
Well, it's just used a lot more.
Pato.
It's just used more mainly by younger folks, and it's just meant to be a more inclusive term.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if anybody out there on Facebook or Instagram knows the right terminology or the right, I don't know, what do we call this here, meaning of Latinx, please let us know. Do we have any chats?
We have a guest
Oh,
for how
guest.
old
Okay, another guest.
Councilwoman Consuelo was when she moved to Escondido. He says 4 years old, and we have a guest for 2 years.
It's 4 years old.
It's 4 years.
Oh, he got it.
And who's that?
Eric, yes.
Eric.
He wanted the gift card.
Didn't he want the-
Persistence.
Yeah,
Eric.
like-
Good
Yeah.
job, Eric.
3 other
Okay.
votes?
You know what huh?
Did he have 3 other votes?
I forgot which card I was gonna give away.
Which one is
Ask him what he wants.
Buffalo wings?
Hey, ask him what he wants. Which one he wants.
Okay, ask him which one does he want. Yeah, ask him. Which
Okay.
One. Okay. So I have a few friends who wanted me to ask you this question. And one of them was rent. Oh my gosh. Rent. What are your thoughts about rent?
What specifically about rent?
I don't know. He just asked me about rent. Huh?
I don't know. I don't rent, but I it's pretty high.
Yeah, so rents are really high because we don't have a lot of housing and a lot of investors. There's multiple reasons why, right?
Mhm.
Home prices are expensive. Older properties are getting purchased by mostly investors. They're
Mhm.
flipping them and making, because it's a hot market right now, they're
Yeah.
flipping them and charging higher rent. So it's a big problem. California has rent control.
Mhm.
At the city, we could do more around this, but that would require my colleagues to want to address this issue. And it's
Yeah.
a very controversial issue for some of my colleagues. So,
Yeah.
so who you elect matters, right? And I think like it's a crisis. I worry every night. This is one of the things that keeps me up at night is the high rents, and people who live in my district and just the city whose rents are going up or they're being displaced because their properties are being purchased by new owners and they're being asked to move while they renovate. Where are they going to go?
Is that really happening?
Yes, it's happening every day in our city.
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's legal too. It's legal, so that's
It's legal to kick these people out.
well. If they're
Did
being
you hear about that, didn't you?
if they're being if the property is being renovated and they want you to leave because a new owner came in, or that it's happening every single day all over the county.
Wow.
Well, I wonder if we're in a housing top, and I'll tell you why.
You're what?
I wonder if we're in a housing top, and I'll tell you why. Because every stock market boom and bust is followed by a housing market boom and bust, followed by
Oh, a little louder. Sorry.
Every,
louder.
every stock market boom and bust, followed by a housing market boom and bust, followed by a precious metal boom and bust. Maybe they don't boom and bust completely, but that's the cycle.
Right, it's a cycle.
And currently, people, because I just see it on television, I see it advertised, people are buying houses just to Airbnb.
I know, yes,
And
that's
now-
another contributor.
People are renting apartments just to Airbnb them. And I see that's because you see these plans and people telling you how you can get rich quick.
Right.
And the biggest one, and when they're renting apartments just to speculate to Airbnb them,
Yes.
there's a problem.
There is, and that requires, policies. We haven't, I'm sure where there's Airbnbs in Escondido, I know in the coast it's out of control, right? But that's another thing is that people are now seeing, as investment opportunities. I also think with the pandemic, my observation is people now work remote. Like in my job, I can work remote, right?
Yeah.
So people like that live in New York, right? They maybe pay higher over there, right? So pay higher salaries there. So someone from New York can totally live in Escondido, and still be employed from New York, right? Because now they're remote, so they can move anywhere they want. So I've seen a lot of that happening where people from other states are moving here because they like our weather.
Yeah.
And they want to get out of the snow. I know one person who now lives in historic Escondido, and they just wanted to leave the cold in Chicago. And they make really good money, and so they're the ones that are also putting in bids at homes, sometimes at the local. So there's just so many factors, right? There's just so many factors that I really hope the situation gets better, but I do think we need to protect folks, and again, that's going to require 3 votes on the city council.
Do you think that will change? The whole rental?
I hope it will change. I mean, like I said, like you said, cycles go up and down, right? But I see this as like a trend now, right? Of people buying multiple homes so that they can, rent them as
The
Airbnbs.
future trend is going to be that the downtown areas are going to start disintegrating again, because people won't need to live downtown anymore for the same reason you just discussed. In addition to that, there's no real reason to have these big office buildings anymore.
Right, yeah, there are.
Do you have the same issue up in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably worse.
Your rent? Yeah.
Yeah, but like downtown San Diego is so different now, right? Before it was like, I mean, Horton Plaza went away. Even, there's just so much that changes. But yeah, now a lot of people aren't renting offices anymore because people work from their homes.
Yeah.
How would you help? I mean, what would be the slow down the slow down? And I know a lot of people that paying high rents, and it doesn't seem to be.
Yeah,
you don't see the end of it.
Well, we have rent control in the state, but the city could do more if they wanted to on that issue. They also could have what's called no fault evictions, meaning that you just can't kick someone out. Like they has to be a valid reason. So there could be stronger protections for renters. However, that tends to be controversial for some people, and not a lot of people do it. Like in San Diego, I think City of San Diego is barely just now taking that on, right? So it's going to take, I think, a long way for Escondido to go there. But again, I'm very sensitive to those issues myself, so I'm not afraid to protect renters. But again, that I need support from my colleagues on that, right?
You need to have people.
So that's why you need
You
people.
have people that can? You mean? Is that what you were?
You need people who are on the same page, right?
Yeah.
Who are on the same
there you
page.
go, same
right.
page. Another question. What are you,
Remember the
What?
time. Remember the time.
what are you doing about robot price?
Nothing. That's not my jurisdiction.
What price?
Robot rights.
Someone wanted to know robot rights.
Sorry,
What is
yeah,
she doing
that's-
about robot rights?
That's not my jurisdiction, and that's not something I tackle on the city council.
You know what, this guy that wrote this question, I think he was watching iRobot with Will
Right.
Smith, that movie.
Right.
Mm.
Did you see that movie, iRobot?
But probably something that
AI
will be an issue in the future. You know, I'm not. I wouldn't doubt that.
Here's a thought, and maybe you may want to address it on the city council. What if these downtown areas, which have these huge apartment buildings, which are not, there's no real reason for these big offices to exist anymore. There's just now people who work at home. Why should people have the expense of having to have a car to drive to a place that does the exact same thing they can do in their own living room at home, and all they need is a high-speed internet connection and a computer? So, what if some of these buildings got converted into apartments or condos?
I think that is happening in some cases. The zoning would have to change. You know,
It would help
so
the housing
the
situation that's going on.
yeah,
People
the zoning
will
would
be able
have to
affordable
change.
housing again.
Yeah, the zoning would have to change. So it just kind of depends on the area.
But people live downtown anyway, right next to these big office buildings, so what's the difference?
Yeah,
Hmm.
like I said, the zoning would have to change. So
I'm
I
just
don't know.
throwing it out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Something you
Some-
may want to think about.
Some things that have happened is some mixed use buildings have been converted to residential because they're already partially residential, right? So like there's a few buildings where the bottom was supposed to be commercial and they've converted those to home. So to home. So that has happened. It's definitely something to explore.
It's confusing because
We don't really have those big empty buildings in Escondido though. Well, we
Yeah.
have some, but not the big office buildings you're talking
Well,
about.
we're gonna go into recession. I mean, I've never seen a Fed interest rate hike as we've had recently, and literally we have runaway inflation that's the worst of my
Yeah,
lifetime,
it's really
basically.
bad.
So, based on what the Fed is doing, they're gonna throw us right into a recession. When that happens, a lot of companies are gonna start downsizing.
That's happening
Another
now.
question.
Yes.
What she believes will lead to gosh.
Yeah, very dramatic.
What she believes, what do you believe will lead to the fall of mankind?
Yes,
there's a-
let us know.
You know what? Honestly, humanity. Let's just say humanity, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of things. I think climate change is really
Wow, that's a
is
big
up
one.
there. Climate change.
No, that's no laughing
There's
matter.
No.
some people who think climate change is fake. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, what we're seeing right now, unprecedented things. I mean, I would say climate change. There's other things too, right? But climate change is up there.
Is that a hot topic in the city? Is that a
Yeah,
hot topic that comes to the office?
I mean, hot topic. I don't know what you refer to as hot topic, but it's something
Like-
that we talk about
Like
regularly.
people are involved with that
Oh,
and
yeah.
they want to change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some practical?
Well, we have our climate
change.
action plan, right? So we have goals that we have to legally meet within the state.
Mhm.
Also, planting more trees. So everyone, the state of California, we all have climate action plans.
Yeah.
Most cities do. So, but there's also just people who contact me, like especially young folks. Like I know young people who have nightmares
Yeah.
about the end of the world
Hmm.
because they're just so
Do you
stressed
have
out.
nightmares, Chica?
I don't have nightmares about the end of the world, but I do think about it, and I wonder if like anybody else thinks about it.
They do, and like I said, I know people who literally have nightmares about
Yeah.
this. So I would say climate change is up there, and we're seeing it now. We're seeing it.
Yeah.
We've been through something like this before, way back then, and I remember going through it. I was younger, obviously, but it's like a cycle. I think things are gonna get better.
Yeah, but Los Angeles, they've made it that I think in 10 years, 2035, they won't sell any more gas vehicles.
That's the state.
It's a
Okay,
state.
so the state.
Yeah, the
But
state's doing
that's
that.
providing a false sense of security.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you why. How do you charge the electric vehicle?
That's the question a lot of people are
I'm telling you the
asking. Yeah.
answer, with oil and coal. That's the only way to do it. It's what all the electrical systems are run on. Nobody wants to have nuclear power, which is the only real alternative. I mean, you can't run a power plant on solar. You still have to have generators running on fuel constantly for the cloudy day. So they're not really saving that much. And it really is oil and coal that is actually, that's fueling the power plants. So everybody thinks they're saving all this, the ecology by having electric vehicles. We're not. And nobody wants to address that issue. Nobody also wants to address where these batteries go
Yeah, I've heard that
and where
too.
the
I've
toxic
heard
waste
that.
is going from them.
Hmm.
So, again, I'm just telling you, this is just big business, only now in the form of electric vehicles coming in and pushing their agenda forward, but still we're not addressing climate change. Because to address the climate change, we need to address how to charge the vehicles.
I hear you. I hear you.
Another question came in. Desalination. Where are we with that?
We don't. Well, Carlsbad has a desalination plant.
Oh, it wasn't destroyed? Like it wasn't shelved?
They have it. It's running.
Oh, it's running.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
and we're here in Escondido. We have the MFRO. I forget what it stands for, but it's a recycled water plant, and so there will be a groundbreaking in the future for that, and that helps bring also recycled water to our agriculture, which is really important.
Do farmers like desalination water?
I don't know specifically on that.
Okay.
I just know that they need cheaper water, and of course, no salt on their water. They can't have salt in their water.
Right.
So, yeah.
Then we'll have salty vegetables.
Right? No salt.
So we're gonna wrap it up. We have about 5 minutes, right? Yeah, 5 minutes to wrap it up. Our floor director is telling me we have 5 minutes, right? Oh, we have 5 minute countdown. So 5 minutes. So we have 5 minute countdown, right? They're gonna tell us.
We're almost there.
What other goals do you have in the near future?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm running for re-election.
Okay.
Next month is ballots go out already. So I guess my message, since we only have 5 minutes, I want to take this opportunity just to say how important it is to get involved in your community, whether it's volunteering. I love what you're doing, soccer with our kids. Soccer is a very popular topic. We have a futsal court coming in Washington Park. Revitalizing Washington Park was very important to me.
Did you say a food court?
Futsal.
Oh, futsal.
Yeah, which is.
I must be hungry.
You are.
I must be hungry.
So soccer, on an underutilized tennis court. But for me, really improving the quality of life, more things for our families to do and youth to do is really important to me. When I first got elected, Washington Park didn't even have benches, and so now there's benches, there's murals. Like I said, there's just and it's thriving. There's skate parks there now. Like there's just so much activity happening at Washington Park. So I would like to continue doing those kind of things in the community. It's just improving things and having things for our community to do.
Yeah. Now I have a tia who actually wanted me to ask you this question. My tia Juana. I have a tia Juana.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
My tia Juana, it's true, Nunzio, yeah. You might know my tia. My tia Juana asked me to ask you if it's okay that she goes out to Washington Park and sell chapulines.
I don't know. I mean, she has to have
I think what she was asking me if she needs a business license for that.
So street vending, there's rules, right? And you have to have a business license to sell.
You hear that, tia?
So get your business license.
But she can sell chapulines. You know what I'm saying? Like the
I know what chapulines
grilled
are.
Chapulines, right? Do you eat chapulines?
No.
Do you eat chapulines?
Not really.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
Where do your family come from? Mexico?
From Jalisco. Yeah.
I've
tried. I think I've tried chapulines, but
Oaxaca, right?
Chapulines are grasshoppers. They're
crunchy and
grill
salty.
them. They grill them. Yeah. My family from Oaxaca eats them quite a lot.
Like a botana,
Yeah.
a beer.
Yeah. My tia wants to go to Washington Park and have like a little stand and sell chapulines.
I don't know about like on the park. Like I said, there's rules. Have her contact the city on the specifics of that. But she does need a business
I have
license.
to ask her to see if maybe I misunderstood. Maybe she wants to go catch chapulines
at the park.
I doubt they're gonna get them there, but okay.
Oh my god.
I mentioned that me and Consuelo. I feel like I need to call you Councilmember Consuelo.
Go ahead.
I feel like I'm like disrespecting that title. What do you think, Nuzio? Am I?
But I said you could call me.
For sure.
But she says okay if we call her Consuelo.
No, we have to use this title.
Councilwoman.
Yeah, she worked really hard to get where she's at.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
Thank
her
you.
problem.
You see, this is why he's here, because he's the brain of. So, Councilmember Martinez, earlier we chat that me and you were in a class. What class was that when we were back in high school? You remember that, right? I even mentioned the teacher's name.
I was.
Do you
I
remember?
missed that one.
I remember the class you
Yeah.
mentioned. You
Yeah.
remember the class, so
We
now
were
I
in
know.
the class. So if
And I
you
know
can,
the teacher.
you know the teacher. So okay, a bonus if you mention the teacher's name, and
So that means they get two?
yeah. So you get
Ooh.
Taco Bell for the bonus, and if you can guess what class was that, you get Buffalo Wild Wings. If you were like the person to change everything in the city of Escondido, I know there's a lot. Like, what would you change? What's one thing, if it was in your control to do it, and you're like, yeah, this can be done? What would you change?
Oh my goodness, that's a big question, Jorge.
I'm
So
sorry.
I would say no, it's not. It's so that requires probably some more thought. But I will say
Please
this.
don't say the AV guy.
I will say what I really hope for is that people become part of the solution in their community and they get involved, right? And that means treating your neighbors with respect and dignity
Mhm.
and helping others. I feel like if we all do that, it will be a better city. And we have solutions to a lot of our problems. It just requires people to get involved,
Yeah.
not just politicians to fix everything. We can do some things, but we can't do everything.
Yeah.
So I would say I just wish people would love their city, love their neighbor, get involved in their community, and just be kind, because we need that more. We need more love and kindness in this world.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like for my city.
That's
And
awesome.
then that will have that ripple effect and bring positive changes, I think, to the city. So I think it starts with self. It starts
Yeah.
with person, and then it goes out from there. That's at least what I try to do in my role, is really be a model for positive change in our community. And hopefully people are watching and will do the same.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Nunzio?
About what? I think she's doing a great job.
Are you falling asleep down there? I think Nunzio's finally falling
I
asleep.
He just
think
catches
you're doing a great
off
job
guard.
with what
Yeah.
you're doing. I mean, I just want to know what your pet project is. Like I told you, I had.
Oh,
I
my
had
pet
one when I was in
project?
college.
Okay, I do
mean,
have
I
a
wanted
dream.
us to build a bandstand in college
I love that.
where they just won't go for it.
Okay. Yeah, so I have a dream. I've had a dream for a long time. I would like, and I see me pursuing this after politics. I don't plan to stay in forever. I want to have a center in Escondido. I call it like the Social Justice Resource Center, but really a community space for people to learn, and like a hub, a one-stop shop where people can get services and just come to a place that they trust and feel at home in, that they can say, oh, I need this, or I need help with that. And we can try to connect them with resources, because I feel that as a daughter of immigrant parents, I'm a navigator, and having gone to college, I've learned a lot of things. So a lot of people call me, like, I am the de facto housing navigator at the city, because people call me, Consuelo, I'm looking for an apartment. Can you help me? So we need people who know things, right? We have a lot of knowledge to share. A lot of us know different things. It's just a place where people can come and get the information they need to thrive,
Yeah.
and also to train people on leadership, and just have a meeting space for people to be able to do positive things. Because right now we don't really have affordable meeting spaces. So
Mhm.
I'd like to start a nonprofit that really trains that next generation on leadership and just giving back to the community. And so I hope to have that center in the city, and that's really that's my dream for my city, and really the legacy that I wanna have here.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Great
When your
goal.
center opens, I get to say that I was here when she talked about
When
it.
she
Yeah.
talked about it,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, it's like it's been like a 15+ year dream, and I need to make it happen.
You
But
will have
you
Call
know.
us for the cutting of the ribbon.
okay, I will make sure you leave me your
You're so
info.
positive.
You got a couple guesses.
Oh,
you
guesses.
thought that you guys were together, and Eric says it's a great idea.
Thank you, Eric. I'm gonna ask for your help. when
Eric says
and-
that he thinks you guys were in algebra class together.
Close.
Oh, that was
You
fr-
have a guess
But
on
what-
science.
Well, that is, I guess, technically.
What-
No,
was it
no, it's got to
Science.
be exacto
Yeah.
mundo.
It's most technically.
It's close. Was it
Hey.
algebra? I don't remember if it was algebra.
No, but it's the
Oh,
studies the studies fall in the same pyramid
Hmm.
as like
Studies.
yeah. It's the
Oh,
it's the studies is the
That's specific. It's not. It's a general. It's more general than that. But that's a specific one within that umbrella.
oh, you know math.
So you have
Thanks
to give
again, Newsy, for giving it away.
You need a new question.
Okay.
She's already saying it. Everybody
Yeah.
knows algebra
Well,
part
it
of
is,
math.
I know. So I guess I mean
But
does
Eric
that-
didn't get it.
But you have to get it exactly. Sorry, Eric.
Yeah,
we'll have
we
to,
did-
let's give him another question.
and it was in math
I
class.
was gonna try to throw him out,
But it was-
out there and try to.
yeah, we
It,
tried to
it
help
was
you.
geometry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was geometry.
Right.
I remember that because I remember.
But
a
you
lot of
said
kids-
math though.
But that's what
Yeah, I
said,
did, math class.
That's why I said algebra is not geometry, but you want to say it's under the big umbrella of math.
It is.
But
right,
he
yeah.
did say math.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh,
wait,
no
way! What a knucklehead. I'm sorry, I apologize.
You have to do
Anyways,
a
let's
new
go
question.
right away.
Maybe you
yeah.
give them away next week.
Were you saying it because you wanted it?
Yeah,
You guessed it
that
right.
all sounds good.
You guessed
We had
it
to make a
right.
trip to the border. Did they hear it?
No,
How
yeah.
good? They did?
You get it, coach. You got it.
You got
You
it.
need to give the coach Starbucks because he can't have Taco Bell. He'll lose his great figure.
He doesn't do
The
so.
question was,
All right.
Who was their teacher? Who was the
Oh,
teacher
that I don't
that-
Oh, no,
remember.
you come up with a
Jorge will
question.
remember
And he
that.
Oh, you come up with
mentioned
any
Mr.
question.
Doyle.
All right, Nuzi will give another raffle, and then he'll come up with the question. Just let us know what it is. So I don't have any more questions. I think most of the questions I already asked, they're already here. I can't believe someone wanted to know about robot rights, and so I'll admit.
People care about different things,
Humanity.
you know.
Yeah, first of all, I don't think I can vote for you. I live in Escondido, but I think you're not in my district. Is that how it works?
What street?
I live in Eureka.
No, Eureka Springs.
Yes.
No, not. It's right outside my district.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So otherwise, I would vote for
Why
you.
don't you move? Why
Want
don't
you to
you?
vote?
Yeah.
My cousin, my
Can
cousin.
he do that?
Then I can go to my tia's house, that kind of thing.
So you could, if you know people in District 1, and if you're not sure if you're in District 1, if you go to the city website and you go under City Council, find my district or find my representative, you can
Yeah.
click there and type in your address, and you'll know.
That's
But
how I found out. And you're
Yeah.
a little bit to the. You were in Norte, right? All the
Yeah.
Norte, yeah.
yeah,
You know what? I was thinking, but it's probably too hard. What district are you running in could be a question. Or maybe we
Ooh.
can make it simpler and say what day's election day.
oh well, they can Google that.
I
Well, they
know,
can
but
Google all of that.
They can Google all of that.
Oh,
It's true.
okay.
The question is whether or not they would be honest.
I mean, we don't have any rules.
I,
You
I
guess
just
it or
give-
you don't guess it.
I do have a question.
Or we can ask something else.
Well, no, I do. Can I make a
Sure.
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
In regards to the leadership role, I always wanted to be a politician when I was younger,
Oh really?
and I wanted to be a psychologist and all that. And at the end, I decided to be a soccer coach because I noticed that
Well, doesn't that come with politics?
Well, I'm learning the hard way right now.
Different.
We're having some battles right now. But the reason why I decided to be a soccer coach is because when I was studying psychologist, you monitor everything that you do and that kind of stuff. And us Mexicans, we don't like to be told what to do.
Mhm.
So the politics, the same thing. So I just kind of sort of like got involved with coaching, and I loved it because a lot of the times the things that you do, you become a teacher, you become a psychologist, you become
Yeah.
role model, all those kinds of things. So I think that was my calling. We talked earlier. I've been doing this for 42 years. I do have a question on how when people like myself want to help. And when we need help, how do we reach people like yourself? Because I feel that I've been doing this forever, and it's just in our soccer club. We have about 800 kids that are registered, and they have parents, and most of them can vote. I started taking upon the role of, leading the Hispanic community, to sort of like, I focus a lot on the, teaching them the discipline, to have the discipline, to have good habits, that kind of stuff, so they can
Yeah.
become somebody, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. That's when I become the teacher, then become the politics, because then I'm going through the same thing that you're going through, where the upper group see things different than I can.
Right.
But after there's 5 here and there's 1 here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I need some love, like they say.
Right.
So
It's hard, yeah.
how does somebody like myself, that I feel that I have some good things to offer, can get involved and make
Yeah.
a difference?
Yeah. So I think, so when I got elected, I guess, I didn't win the
By the
first
way, I don't
time.
want to be a politician. I just want
Yeah.
to say, how do I get
Yeah,
there?
yeah. But I just want to show you, because
Yeah.
I think it's community organizing.
Okay.
And that could be, organized or supported. So I think when you want to get in a position, you have to talk, you have to convince people to go your way, right? And so for me, even now, with my colleagues, they don't always agree with me, but I've built relationships with them to be like, hey, can we compromise? Can we meet in the middle? And that's really been successful for me. But I think just talking to people about your cause, the more people you get on your side and more on your cause, and the more people there will be, right? Because right now you may be the only one. And I think so too. I think for me, not a lot of my colleagues think like me. However, I think a huge majority in Escondido thinks like me.
Right.
I know that. I know that because of the number of people that elected me. It's just we haven't made it inside yet, right? And so for me, I'm like, I'm there, but more are coming that think like me. So
Correct.
so it's just gonna take some time, right? So time, I always think, is like I think what I represent on the city council, that perspective, I feel like it is the majority of the perspective in my city. And so it's just that historically it's been hard to get on the council, right? Because again, it takes a lot of money to do things, right? And you have to put yourself out there. And a lot of people aren't used to doing that. But when they see us and they're like, hey, I could do it, he did it, or she did it, then more come after you. So I would just say be consistent. Talk to people about your dreams, visions, bring people with you. I think that's so important. Like for me, if I can't get something done, I'm like, okay, I tried. I'm not going to win this battle. Time to move on to the next one. This is what I'm going to focus on. And I focus on what I can do, right? And it's like incremental change, but it's still change. And that's the one constant is change. Like no matter what, that's the one thing that will happen. Change is inevitable. And I've seen it in the last 20 plus years that I've been involved politically in Escondido through my activism and community involvement. I have seen so much change. It took 20 years, but it happened. And now I'm seeing things that I thought would never happen in Escondido, right?
I would like you to tell the audience what district you're in and when is the election day.
Thank you. Yes. I'm running for Escondido City Council District 1, which encompasses the creek is one of my boundaries in front of the police station, Center City Parkway, to El Norte on the south side, but I've picked up a little bit of in front of Del Taco. So like Sheridan, so pretty much North Broadway, Sheridan to Ash is now part of my district. Also the flower streets, Mission, Washington, Midway, parts of Citrus, Lincoln, Broadway, Escondido Boulevard, that's part of my district. So ConsueloMartinez.com. I'm on social media. I share stuff about Escondido every day. So if you want to learn about Escondido, follow me on social media because I'm always posting things that are happening. If you want to register to vote, sdvote.com. And make sure you check your registration status to make sure you're registered at your current address.
And when's election day?
Tuesday, November 8th. But please vote early by mail. Vote early by mail.
So we're going to wrap it up here. My AV technician, we're
AKA Jonathan.
We ran out of time, unfortunately, and I want to thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you had fun. Oh,
Thank
we're about
you.
to clap.
I just want to applaud her.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you.
And happy birthday. Can we sing a happy birthday? Yeah?
Aw.
No, we are.
Okay. I have the 3, 1. Ready? Birthday to you.
That's better.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear fellow. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And many
More.
Mexican, you'll go cha cha cha.
Gracias. Cha cha cha. Yeah.
What does your cup say on it?
Oh yes, my rainbow cup. It says igualdad,
Which means what?
equality.
Equality.
Even I knew that.
We'll end with that.
Thank you all. Bye.
Are we off that?